Alright, welcome back to the workshop. It's our final 30 for 30 episode. If you've been watching today or the past 30 days, thank you so much. Next couple days I'm going to spend just catching up on the comments and all the wonderful feedback we've received. Thank y'all so much. We read each and every one of them, but I want to have the time to sit down and tell you how much I appreciate you and give you as much feedback as possible that answers your questions. Thank y'all. So for the last one, made a little something to celebrate. For the last one, we're going to make a little tool to celebrate. This is my favorite cigar currently. No, I'm not sponsored. Yes, I would accept some sponsorship. Will work for cigars. I'm just saying. Yep. So this is a Tres Hermanos out of the cigar factory in New Orleans, Louisiana. My wife and I had our honeymoon there when we first got married, and we got to take our family there this past January. Love it. Cigars is a filthy habit. I understand completely. I don't drink. A lot of other things I don't do, but I do enjoy a good filthy cigar every now and again. If that's not your cup of tea and this offends you, I'm so sorry. But I don't like it to be cut. I like a punch. And I've actually been playing around with this idea a little bit, and we talked about in our guillotine video, kind of the possibilities of what you could do. And I never could figure out how to make the cigar punch just like I like. Today, I think I have a good idea, and I think it kind of goes along with the cigar mentality. So we're going to make a lucky cigar punch. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to start with some 3/4 inch square, and we're also going to need a chisel and a guillotine tool. If you don't have those, be creative. Either make the tool. We show you how to make the tool right here. We also show you some changes that we made right here. If you've been paying attention to our videos, we talk about making it quick and dirty. And it needs to be simple, it needs to operate smoothly, and it needs to produce some sweet outcomes. One of the things I love about making these tools in this way is that if it has some bumps along the way that I need to go through and make some modifications, I don't get too chuffed. I'm like, okay, it showed me what it needs. I'm listening to it the same way I listen to my work. If my work's not turning out the way I want, you need to listen to it and you need to assess and be critical of yourself. Where do I need to change up? And that's okay. So let's get into it. All right, so I've got this all marked off. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna go ahead and cut some grooves on the bandsaw. It's probably like a 32nd of an inch thick. It's very thin metal, and so it's not gonna take up much material. You can use a cutoff wheel. Cutoff wheel will do the same job. Make sure that you leave enough meat in the middle, okay? That's gonna be a big part of this. You wanna make sure that you got plenty of meat in the middle. Plenty of meat in the middle, and that way, because we're actually gonna twist these and have them going opposing directions, and it's gonna make it look pretty cool. And I like a chamfer on anything that I've got that has corners. It just, especially if I want to touch it, corners just feel offensive to me. So I like to put a little chamfer. So the way that we're gonna do that chamfer is we're gonna come in with a chisel. And once we've cut this, we're gonna come in with the chisel hot, and it's just gonna forge that chamfer in there for us. It's gonna make life a little bit easier. On the top, you can take that to the grinder. On this last line, this is the part that we're gonna isolate, and that's gonna be our actual punch. I'll probably come just a little bit lower than the line, and that way, if my guillotine tool gets too close or disrupts it, I'm not making like an offset little die there at the bottom. That way we keep everything symmetrical as possible. Don't you do it. I can feel you racing off to the comments. Hold on, I'll answer that question right here. Yeah, that's how you keep it engaged while you're using it. On my old saw, I could just reach over that clamp and it would grab it, no problem, but it doesn't, so I just turn this around backwards. Simple, smooth, sweet. So for this, and on that final one, we just wanted to bite into it, and that way we've got a place to bite into it whenever we come in with our guillotine tool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and isolate some material for my tenon. I'm being real methodical with my steps. I always try to lay out what I can do and what step I should do it in, and if it's gonna mess it up in the future if I do a step too early, or if it's a step I can come back and do. Sorry, sometimes you gotta listen for the forge. I'll make a funny name whenever the Venturi goes out. Or sound. Anyways, and so I'm really thinking about my steps and processes. After you watch the video, hopefully you understand why I did things that way, and I'll explain at the end too. But for the next step, I'm going to go ahead and isolate my material for my tenon, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to be shooting for right around a 3/8 tenon. And this tenon doesn't have to be super long. So don't bite off, 6 inches of material so you can forge a 1-inch stem. Be mindful of that because you don't want to have to just work yourself to death. Real quick, on my first piece that I did, I noticed I got real thin in the middle. I had cut way too small. Yep. And what's going to happen there is you're actually going to tear a little bit when you go to twist this thing. So I went back and I recut and I left plenty of meat. I would rather have an issue when I go to twist it of it not wanting to twist and me realize I need to cut more than cut too small. I mean, we're down to about a 3/16 or 1/4 inch little piece that's holding it together. That's not going to cut it, especially for as much as you're going in and out of the fire. Here's our second piece, and we barely cut it. I mean, we might have gone in 1/8 of an inch, so about half the depth. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut this little chunk off because I don't need much for this punch. And I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up on the grinder. Since I don't have a dedicated swage for forging these tenons, I kind of eyeballed it, and I think I might have got a little bit smaller than 3/8. If we did, we're down to 5/16, not a problem. Look at this. Oh, I'm so kind of tickled pink. And that's a big reason behind our design. I didn't even want to mention it beforehand because I didn't want to jinx myself. We'd actually tinkered around with a couple other designs. And since I don't have a lathe, that was always a problem. There's a little bit of wiggle at the end. I probably could have done better about clamping it up, but it worked. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my time at the grinder, and where the walls are a little bit thick, I'm gonna take that down and try to even it up the best I can without getting carried away. If you're new to grinding, not very comfortable, what you're gonna wanna do is, a little trick that I like to do is I run some slack belt off the corner that I'm working on, and that way hopefully it doesn't cut into that shoulder too much. Man, this is cool. So, I'm gonna clean up at the grinder, I'm gonna do a little bit of file work, and then I think we're ready to put some numbers on this guy and throw a twist or two in it, and we're in the home stretch. Oh, I'm excited. And it's not perfect. If you're wanting to be perfect, I suggest practicing before you get this far on something. If you're willing to wreck it and lose it, go ahead. But I like it. I'm gonna end up cutting some V notches in here with the file, but I'm gonna save that to do towards the end, and that way I can go ahead and put my numbers on my die. I'm not gonna lay these out with the marker. My eyes are pretty good at this point in my life, and so I'm just gonna look at them and I'm gonna do them one by one. And then, if I don't like my little dimples, we might take it and kiss it with the drill press. If not, we'll just stick with what we got. I'm thinking snake eyes up top. Cool. All right, so I got them all in. And they actually turned out pretty good. There's one or two little errors, but not bad. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean that up with a drill press. I'm gonna use probably a 3/16 start with, see how that looks. And I'm just looking to kiss this, just to dish out a little bit. I did not put my snake eyes in yet. I won't put those snake eyes on top. And the reason I hadn't done that yet is because I think I'm gonna end up upsetting these guys, and I don't wanna just ruin it. So I'll probably put those in last, and if I need to go back with a torch to get rid of the shiny, I'll do that too. All right, we've done that guy in the forge. We're ready to twist it up. And I'm just going to offset them just a quarter turn each way. And it'll give it a nice look, I think. Just something fun. Something to mess with the eye a little bit. Make you wonder how it was assembled. When obviously we just broke down the steps and it's pretty easy. We use a twisting wrench. This is a really highly thought out tool. It took me years to invent this. And it's just an adjustable wrench with a piece of flat bar stuck to it. I did it in a quick hurry one day and I thought, man, if this works, I'll one day I'll put an elaborate, nice, I've seen them really nicely done where somebody does a show off piece on this end, and that's cool. We might do that one day. But if you got an adjustable wrench laying around, a sacrificial one, a good one, this is a crescent wrench, made in USA. Let's go, America. And it works pretty well. I like it. What having that extra handle does, if you're curious, is it keeps me from getting lopsided. I felt like every time I turn with the wrench, I get lopsided. I feel like with the fixed wrenches, that it doesn't really account for the expansion of the metal sometimes, or sometimes it'll strip. So I like having that variability. That works for me. And it's a lot less than trying to wrestle two wrenches because they don't clamp on there. So you could do two wrenches and do the same thing, but as you go to switch hands, they might fall down. Time, speed, simple, smooth, and sweet. Last little bit, I'm just gonna sharpen this up a little bit and round those, and that way it puts an edge on them. I'm gonna go down to a fine grit belt. I think I've got a 120. It's about as fine as I go for anything that I'm doing in the shop. And I'm gonna take my time. I'll go back with a file if there's any burrs. And then I'm gonna harden this guy up. I'm just gonna hit it with a torch and just dunk it in the water. And I think it's gonna be plenty good to tap a stogie or two for me. I'm loving this. I got to a point where I like it. Got a little cut. Take your time. It's going to be real thin out here on the tip. So I'm actually going to start a little bit lower and run some of that heat up. And that way I don't just burn up that thin metal with my torch. Real easy to do. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit of hand sanding from here, and I guess we'll have to give her a test. A little 320. I'm not looking for a polished finish, just wanting to clean it up a little bit. I'm sure you could go crazy with this if you want to. If you've watched any of our videos, you know that other than forging, I'm really not interested in the rest of it. In case you didn't know that meant, I don't like grinding. I don't like anything that's to do with grinding. I don't want to sit at a grinder for hours on end and have to do that kind of work. It's necessary, and so we do it in the shop. But if I can outsource it, have somebody come in here and do it, or figure out a way that limits it, I'm going to do that all day long. All right, I think I like it. You know, I really want to be done with this. I'm tired. It's Friday, and I just want to go home. But I feel like for our final video, I need somewhere to go. So we got to add to it. Is it dumb if it works? I'm just saying. Let's see if it works. My cigar's a little dry, so I'm hoping it doesn't crack. Right here at the end, we'll come in. Nice little hole. Took the chunk out. I can feel the draw. I'm super excited. What a cool little piece. I'll be honest, the main reason I made this way is because I wanted something square I could chuck up and drill to get that little piece, because that's going to be a hard thing to drill if you don't have a secure way to fasten and chuck it up. And I didn't want to freehand it, so that lent itself really well. Whew. I'm tired. I hope you enjoyed this last one. And I didn't feel right. Put that down. Didn't feel right just, making this and then it's sitting around on the desk. I just thought it needs its own little stand. And I thought that turned out pretty nice. And that's a piece of 1.5 by 1.5 square. And I deliberately wanted it oversized, and I had to drill a 3/8 hole. And yeah, it's just going to be a cool little desk piece. For when it's time to light up cigars in the evenings. Not a great habit. I'm not promoting that part. But it's something I do every now and again, and I enjoy it, and I think it's okay to have a few guilty pleasures. Hey, if you've tuned in with us in the past 30 days, thank you so much. I've enjoyed making this. It's been a huge challenge for me. It definitely deepens my appreciation for people that have made thousands of videos. I think this is getting us closer to that 100 mark, which is pretty awesome considering we just started last August, and we took a bit of a break last fall, and we talk about that in this video right here, if you want to see where we went. And it tells you a little bit about our history as well. I am not going to take that long off. I might take a week off, and we'll be back here to post some videos, and I plan on posting weekly. If you would like to join and you think it's a good idea of, hey, let me get on an email list or something, that way I can just, e-blast y'all. Hey, I'm going to drop it, and I can give y'all a heads up. Whether I'm editing and posting at 10 o'clock at night until I get in a rhythm of this thing. You would think after 30 days I'd be in a rhythm, but I've got other big projects on the horizon that we're tackling starting Monday, so no rest for the wicked. Got big plans, want to do big things, and I'll sleep when I'm dead. So thank y'all so much for being here. Usually I'm not the type of person that likes to talk about things that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but I've got some good ideas for some more involved projects that when I'm not cranking them out day by day that I can bring to y'all, and we're going to be bringing some fun projects to y'all throughout the rest of the year, and I can't wait for it. Thank y'all so much for joining in with me on this ride. It has been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed seeing your feedback. Just know I'm going to catch up on those comments here in the next couple days, and I'm going to try to bring as much value to those as possible, because I don't want to just go on there and say, hey, thank you. I want to, reply to your message in a constructive way that's helpful for you. Appreciate you being here. Smash that subscribe button and make sure you share this. See y'all. That's pretty cool. No bloopers, no nothing. I'd say thank you again. Let's end this let's end this series how we started our first one. You kind of come into the side and you're like, hey, how are y'all doing? And then I come up here with the smash that subscribe button. See y'all. Thank y'all for being here.